When was the last time that you encountered an awesome God? You often hear people who will say things like this: that was an awesome worship service. Or that was an awesome conference that we went to. Or that was an awesome event. But when was the last time that you experienced an awesome God in a very quiet, maybe one-on-one encounter with another human being? Last summer in Buckhorn, we had the privilege, the honor of baptizing 4 girls. All 4 of those girls were there because of circumstances in their lives that were difficult. I remember Olivia O'Fallon and Teresa coming to me one day and saying, "Can you come up to the girls' side of the camp and just circulate around the tables?" Now you have to understand, being a male, I already had a strike against me. Being a pastor, I had a strike against me. And I just wasn't quite sure whether that was going to be good or not. But I walked into a big gym where they had these tables set up, and each of their teams had been divided into tables, and they were going to have a time of doing a craft, and as they were doing that, a Q&A time with me. And I remember sitting down at the first table. I sat at the end of the table, girls on either side, and a girl sitting directly across from me. And the girl leading that team said, "Pastor Steve is here." They'd been to worship, so they knew a little bit about me, to answer any questions that you would like to ask him. And the girl directly across from me, eyeball to eyeball, couldn't get any better position for me to see her and her to see me, looked me in the eye and say, "How do I forgive somebody who's hurt me?" What I know is that she was talking about a family member who had sexually abused her. And I remember very quickly pausing and asking God, "Please give me the right words to speak." That was awesome. We baptized 4 girls on Friday. At the end of that baptism, a young girl who was as vivacious as you could know. She was very lively, very talkative, very humorous. She seemed to be as normal could be. I had baptized the last of the 4 girls, and she looked at me and said, "I want to be baptized too." Couldn't do that because we would have to get parental permission. There was a lot of red tape that had to be done. But I said, let's talk about that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can't be baptized today. You could be baptized another time. But let's talk about that. And I asked her, "Why are you here?" The question you're not really supposed to ask, because those stories go much deeper than you want. And she began to tell me about being sexually abused by her father and her brother at age 9. And then at age 15, her father had sold her into sex trafficking. Gets real quiet, doesn't it? Because every one of us know, bam, that's where the world hits us right between the eyes. But don't we have an awesome God who gives us opportunity to reach into those dark, not so good places with good news and hope? And as much as I wanted to cry, I smiled and said, "Boy, have I got some good news for you." And I told her about the love of Christ who forgives all of our past. That's an awesome God. Dear Father, help us to see that awesomeness is not in our emotional simulation. It's not in our seeing something that's done on stage and we walk away saying, "Wow, that was really well done." The awesome God that I want to talk about, the awesome God that I need to know, Lord, is the one that reaches down into the very depths of darkness and brings light to a world that seemingly has no light. Dear Father, I thank you for being an awesome God that allows us to bear good news to those who have heard nothing but bad. Dear Father, I praise you as an awesome God because you interact with us at the places where the real world confronts us and attacks us and confronts us with more difficultness than we can ever begin to imagine. You're an awesome God that says to us, as you go through this world, you just keep telling people about me. As you go through this world, make disciples. As you go through this world, disciple and baptize in the name of the Father and Son and the Holy Spirit. Allow me to take you to the dark places where people are crying out for hope. And it's then that we realize how awesome you really, really are. Dear Father, today, that awesome God that you are is the God we worship.